Chosen one, stop scrolling right now, because what I'm about to tell you isn't a sermon, it's a warning straight from the throne room of heaven. And if you miss this, you're going to spend the next 6 months wondering why nothing's moving. Listen to me carefully. What you're facing right now, the thing that's keeping you up at 3 a.m., the weight pressing on your chest when you open your eyes in the morning, that's not punishment. That's not abandonment. That's not God forgetting your name. That's preparation. And here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. What you think is the end of your story is actually the middle of the biggest assignment heaven has ever written over your life. I know what you're carrying. Your body's tired. Your savings account doesn't look like you thought it would at this age. Your kids don't call as much. The chair at the dinner table stays empty. The doctor's reports pile up on the counter. And somewhere deep inside, you're whispering a question you don't want to say out loud. Did God forget my address? No, He didn't. But here's the part that's going to shake you. God didn't allow that loss to break you. He allowed it to position you. See, most people think their story is shrinking. They look at what's gone and assume the best chapters are behind them. But heaven is saying something completely different right now. Heaven is saying, what I took from your hands, I'm about to replace with something you can't even carry yet. This message is bigger than encouragement. It's a prophetic unlock. And before this is over, there's going to be a moment somewhere around the middle where it clicks, where you say out loud, oh my God, that's why that had to happen. So, I need you to do something right now. Don't wait. If something in your spirit is already stirring, if something in you is saying, I need to hear this, type in the comments, this is bigger than I think. And if you know someone who's about to give up, someone whose hope is hanging by a thread, you send this to them right now, not later, right now. Because chosen one, heaven didn't bring you here by accident. This moment, this message, this is divine disruption, and it's about to change everything. Let me tell you what's really happening right now. You're sitting there looking at your life like it's a jigsaw puzzle dumped out on the kitchen table, 1,000 scattered pieces, no edges, no picture. And every time you try to make sense of it, nothing fits. The health scare that came out of nowhere, the friend you buried last month, the phone that doesn't ring like it used to, the grandkids who live 3 states away and only text on birthdays. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a whisper you're ashamed to admit. Is this all that's left? But here's what you can't see from where you're sitting. You're staring at the front of the puzzle box. What you don't see is the picture God is building on the back of the tapestry. Every tangled thread, every knot, every color that doesn't make sense from your side on His side, it's a masterpiece, and He's not done weaving. See, the enemy has been whispering one lie to you over and over. You're at the end of your usefulness. He wants you to believe your best years are gone, that your influence is over, that you're just holding on until heaven calls you home. He wants you looking backward at regrets instead of forward at assignments. And chosen one, that lie is straight from the pit of hell. Because when something is bigger than you think, it also means you are bigger than the enemy thinks. Let me go deeper. Right now, you're carrying things you don't even recognize as warfare. That doctor's report that came back with words you can't pronounce, that's not just medical, that's spiritual. The savings account that got slammed by inflation and rising costs, that's not just financial pressure, that's a targeted attack on your peace. The loneliness you feel when the house gets quiet, that's not just age. That's the enemy trying to isolate you so you can't hear what heaven is saying. You think you're just dealing with old age, but heaven sees a chosen vessel under siege. You think you're just surviving another hard season, but the throne room sees a warrior being positioned for the final and most powerful chapter of their life. The pressure didn't increase because you're weak. The pressure increased because heaven marked you, and when heaven marks you, hell takes notice. Listen to me. You're not just a Christian who goes to church and pays tithes. You're a chosen one carrying something in your spirit for your bloodline, for your city, for your generation. There's an anointing on you that your children need. There's a prayer language in you that can break generational curses. There's wisdom in you that can redirect entire families, and the enemy knows it. That's why he sent the sickness. That's why he sent the financial strain. That's why he sent the isolation. He's trying to shut you down before you step into what God has been preparing you for your entire life. Because here's the truth they don't tell you in Sunday school. The closer you get to your assignment, the heavier the attack becomes. Think about it. When did the pressure get worse? When you got older. When your body slowed down. When your circle got smaller. When the world started moving too fast for you to keep up. When you started feeling left behind by technology, by culture, by younger generations who don't believe what you believe anymore. But what if I told you that every single one of those things is part of the setup? What if the isolation wasn't to bury you, but to separate you so God could speak to you without distraction? What if the physical limitation wasn't to weaken you, but to force you into deeper dependence on His strength? What if watching the younger generation drift wasn't defeat, but the very reason God is keeping you alive, because you carry something they desperately need, even if they don't know it yet? Chosen one, you're not fading, you're being refined. And I know you've got regrets. I know you lie awake at 2 a.m., replaying decisions, the marriage that didn't work, the career move you wish you could take back, the moments with your kids you can't get back, the words you said, the words you didn't say. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. God is about to use every single scar, every single mistake, every single broken piece to build something so powerful you'll look back and say, that had to happen exactly the way it did. Because you're not carrying failure, you're carrying testimony. And testimony is the most dangerous weapon in the kingdom of God. In just a moment, we're going to crack open scripture and look at someone who thought their life had shrunk down to survival. Someone old, someone forgotten, someone whose best days looked like they were behind them, and we're going to watch how God turned that season into a global assignment that's still shaking nations thousands of years later. But before we get there, I need you to understand something. What you're walking through right now isn't the end. It's the setup. And the question isn't whether God still has a plan for you. The question is, are you ready to see how big it really is? Chosen one, I need you to stop for a second and picture something with me. Right now, you're looking at your life like you're holding a camera 2 inches from your face. All you can see is the close-up, the wrinkles, the prescription bottles lined up on the counter, the bank statement that doesn't match what you prayed for, the phone that didn't ring on your birthday, the empty seat where someone used to sit. That's your view. That's what you see every single morning when you wake up. But God? God is watching from a completely different angle. He's not zoomed in on your pain. He's zoomed out on your purpose. He's not looking at your Tuesday afternoon doctor's appointment. He's looking at the next 30 years of your bloodline. He sees the whole city, the whole timeline, the whole ripple effect of every single prayer you whispered in the dark. You think you're small. God sees you as central. You think your story is ending. God sees it as essential. Listen to what Isaiah 55:8-9 says, and I'm going to say it plain. My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. You know what that means. It means when you're looking at what you lost, God is looking at what He's building. When you're counting what's missing, God is counting what's coming. Your perspective is limited to what you can touch. His perspective is eternal. And here's where it gets heavy. You think that prayer you prayed in that little apartment in the Bronx, in that row house in Baltimore, in that trailer in Oklahoma, in that bedroom in Detroit, you think it just bounced off the ceiling and disappeared, don't you? No, heaven recorded it. Angels moved because of it. And 3 generations down the line, someone you'll never meet is going to walk into a blessing because you didn't give up in 2025. Your grandmother prayed. You might not even remember her voice anymore, But you're alive today because 50 years ago she got on her knees and said, "Lord, cover my seed." That prayer didn't expire. It's still working. It's covering you right now. And the prayers you're praying today, they're not just for you. They're deposits into a spiritual account your great-grandchildren are going to withdraw from. But here's what messes people up. Here's what makes them quit. They look at their life like it's a single thread. Thin, fragile, easy to snap. And alone maybe it is. But God doesn't see your life as one thread. He sees a quilt, a tapestry, and every day you lived, every tear you cried, every bill you paid on your knees, every moment you chose to trust Him when it didn't make sense, those are threads. And God has been weaving them together into something so big, so beautiful, so necessary, that when it's finally revealed, you're going to fall to your knees and say, "So that's what you were doing." Romans 8:28 says it straight. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Not some things, all things. That betrayal, thread. That diagnosis, thread. That financial collapse, thread. That loss that almost killed you, thread. And God has been weaving. The whole time you thought He wasn't paying attention, He was weaving. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, if God is so good at weaving, why did He let me lose that? Why did He let them walk away? Why didn't He answer me when I begged Him? And that's the question, isn't it? That's the one that keeps you up at night. Let me tell you something that's going to shake you, but you need to hear it. God didn't answer some of your prayers when you wanted Him to, not because He didn't care, but because the story was bigger than your timing. You were asking for relief. He was building a legacy. You were asking for comfort. He was building character that would sustain nations. You were praying for a quick fix. He was orchestrating a long-term miracle that required you to be stronger, sharper, deeper than you were back then. If God had given you what you wanted 5 years ago, you wouldn't have been ready for what He's about to release 5 months from now. You hear me? Some blessings require a different version of you. And the waiting, the losing, the breaking, that wasn't God punishing you. That was God preparing you. Because what's coming is not small. What's coming is not something you can handle with the old you. What's coming requires the you that survived the fire, the you that forgave when it was impossible, the you that praised Him in the prison, the you that's sitting here right now, still breathing, still believing, still willing to hear one more word from heaven. That version of you, that's who God has been building. And chosen one, that version of you is about to walk into something so big, you're going to look back at everything you lost and say, "I see it now. I see why it had to happen that way." So here's my question for you, and I need you to sit with this. What if the very thing you thought disqualified you is actually the thing that prepared you for the door that's about to open? Stay with me, because in the next part of this message, I'm going to show you exactly what that door looks like and why the enemy fought so hard to keep you from reaching it. Now, I want to take you back thousands of years, back to a young man named Joseph, 17 years old, favored by his father, dreaming dreams that felt too big for his own good. And then everything fell apart. His brothers, his own flesh and blood, threw him into a pit. Not strangers, not enemies, family. The people who were supposed to protect him left him for dead in a hole in the ground. And when they pulled him out, it wasn't to apologize. It was to sell him like livestock to a caravan heading to Egypt. Chosen one. Can you imagine that? One day you're wearing your father's coat. The next day you're in chains, watching your home disappear behind you, wondering if God even remembers your name. Joseph thought his story was over. He thought he'd lost everything, his family, his future, his identity. He was stripped, sold, and forgotten. But heaven saw something Joseph couldn't see yet, because what looked like rejection in the pit was actually redirection toward the palace. Let me say that again. What looked like rejection was redirection. Joseph didn't know it. But God wasn't punishing him. God was positioning him. Now, fast forward. Joseph ends up in Egypt. He works hard. He keeps his integrity. And just when things start to look up, just when he's running Potiphar's entire household, he gets falsely accused, lied on, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. Prison. After the pit. After the betrayal. After doing everything right. If that were you, what would you be thinking? God, I trusted you. I honored you. And this is what I get. A cell. Most people would have quit right there. Most people would have said, forget it. Faith doesn't work. God's not listening. But Joseph? He kept believing. Even in the dark. Even when nobody was watching. Even when the prison door stayed locked year after year. And here's what I need you to hear. The prison wasn't punishment. The prison was preparation. Because in that prison, Joseph met two men, a baker and a butler, forgotten men with forgotten dreams, and Joseph interpreted their dreams. One was restored, one was not. But the butler, he forgot Joseph. For 2 more years, Joseph sat in that cell, waiting for a door that wouldn't open. Chosen one, how many of you have been waiting on somebody to remember you? Waiting on a promise that feels like it's 2 years overdue? Waiting on a door that heaven said would open, but it's still locked? Joseph was there. Right where you are. But here's where the story turns. Here's where heaven's plan becomes undeniable. Pharaoh has a dream. Nobody in Egypt can interpret it. And suddenly, the butler remembers. Wait, there was a Hebrew in prison who could interpret dreams. And in one day, one single day, Joseph goes from the prison to the palace, from forgotten to favored, from prisoner to prime minister, second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. Not because he fought his way there, not because he manipulated or schemed, but because God had been writing a story so much bigger than Joseph could see. You see, Joseph thought he was just dealing with jealous brothers and a broken family. He thought his story was personal pain, small, private, contained. But heaven? Heaven was writing a story that would save nations during famine. Heaven was positioning one man in one place at one exact moment in history so that millions of people wouldn't starve to death. The pit wasn't about Joseph's failure. It was about Egypt's future. The prison wasn't about Joseph's punishment. It was about Israel's preservation. And everything Joseph lost, his coat, his freedom, his reputation, his years, it was all being woven into a tapestry he couldn't see while he was in the threads. Now, let me bring this home to you. Like Joseph, you've had seasons where people walked away, doors slammed shut, opportunities dried up, your health declined, your bank account shrank, your family scattered, and you thought it was personal, you thought it was about you. But what if it wasn't? What if heaven was doing exactly what it did with Joseph? What if God was removing what you thought you needed so he could position you for what you can't even imagine yet? Chosen ones rarely understand the full size of their assignment while they're in the middle of it. Joseph didn't know he was being prepared to feed nations while he was rotting in prison. He didn't know his brother's betrayal was the setup for a reunion that would save an entire bloodline. He didn't know that every closed door, every false accusation, every lonely night was a divine setup. And neither do you. You're looking at your life right now through a small lens. You're seeing loss, delay, disappointment, decline. But heaven is operating on a completely different scale. Let me hit you with something that might shock you. What if the very thing you've been rebuking is the thing God has been using? What if the delay you've been cursing is the delay that's saving you from something worse? What if the door that closed wasn't rejection, but redirection? What if the person who walked away wasn't abandonment, but alignment? What if God is saying, I need you stripped of what you think you need so I can give you what you're actually called to carry? Joseph's story didn't make sense in the pit. It didn't make sense in the prison. But it made perfect sense in the palace. And chosen one, your palace moment is coming. But you've got to stop fighting the process. You've got to stop shrinking the story. You've got to lift your eyes and say, Lord, help me see the bigger picture. Because what you're walking through right now, this is bigger than you think. If this is hitting you right where you are, I need you to type in the comments, "Lord, help me see the bigger story." Say it out loud if you have to. Because the moment you shift from small thinking to kingdom thinking, everything changes. And now we're about to go even deeper. Because if Joseph's story shook you, what I'm about to show you next is going to blow the roof off everything you thought you knew about your season. Chosen one, I need to talk to you about something that's going to hurt before it heals. But stay with me, because what I'm about to say is going to rewrite how you see every single thing you've been through. You buried people you loved. I know you did. You stood at gravesides when the wind was cold and your heart was colder. You watched them lower someone into the ground who was supposed to be at your birthday this year, someone who was supposed to answer the phone, someone who knew your middle name and the way you take your coffee. You watched doctors walk out of the room with that look on their face. That look that doesn't need words. The one where they pause just a little too long before they speak. And in that pause, your whole world tilted. You held your breath reading that bank statement, line by line, number by number, calculating in your head how you're going to make it stretch another 2 weeks. And the math didn't add up. It still doesn't. You cried in the bathroom so your family wouldn't hear. You ran the water. You covered your mouth. You let it all out where no one could see, because you didn't want them to know how close you were to breaking. I know, chosen one. I know. And here's what the enemy whispered to you in every single one of those moments. This is proof God doesn't care. This is proof you're forgotten. This is proof it's over. But that was a lie straight from the pit of hell. Because what the enemy tried to use to break your faith, God allowed to build your faith. And I need you to hear this with every fiber of your being. Your assignment required a depth that comfort alone could never create. Let me say that again. Your assignment required a depth that comfort alone could never create. See, there are things God is going to trust you with in the next season of your life that He could not have given you if you hadn't walked through fire. There are people you're going to speak to, doors you're going to walk through, assignments you're going to carry that demand a weight-bearing capacity most people don't have. And that capacity, it wasn't built in the sunshine, it was built in the storm. Think about a soldier in basic training when they're crawling through mud at 4 a.m., when their drill sergeant is screaming in their face, when their muscles are screaming and their lungs are burning. They don't realize in that moment that those drills are going to save their life one day. They don't see it. All they feel is the pain. But later, when they're in the field and chaos breaks out around them, their body doesn't panic. It responds. Because the training kicked in. Chosen one, you didn't realize it at the time, but your late-night tears were building a spiritual backbone for what's coming. Every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, that was a rep. Every time you got back up when life knocked you down, that was another rep. Every prayer you whispered when your voice was shaking, that was you getting stronger in places you couldn't even see. Your pain has been prophetic preparation. Let me take you to the Word. In 2 Corinthians 1-4, Paul says this, "He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us." Read that again. God comforts you so that you can comfort others. That means your pain had a purpose bigger than just you surviving it. You're being prepared to speak to people who are going to go through what you survived. You're not just coming out of this season, chosen one. You're coming out with keys in your hand. Keys to unlock prison doors for people still trapped in the same hell you just walked out of. Keys to speak life into dead situations because you know what resurrection looks like. Keys to stand in rooms where hopelessness is thick in the air and say with authority, "I've been where you are, and I'm telling you, God is not done." That's why the devil fought you so hard. He didn't attack you because you were weak. He attacked you because he saw what God was building inside you, and he was terrified of the day you'd figure it out. But today is that day. You thought you were just surviving a storm. Heaven was actually ordaining a ministry. Let that sink in. Every tear you cried in secret is going to become a sermon. Every night you spent on your knees is going to become a testimony. Every scar on your heart is going to become a credential that opens doors no degree ever could. You are not damaged goods, chosen one. You are a weapon that's been through the fire, and now you're sharpened, tempered, and ready. And here's what's about to happen. God is getting ready to trust you with something so significant, so weighty, so kingdom-shaking, that if he had given it to you 5 years ago, it would have crushed you. But you're not who you were 5 years ago. You stayed when others ran. You believed when others quit. You held on when letting go would have been easier. And because you did, heaven is about to hand you an assignment that will make everything you went through make sense. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to stop seeing your pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation? Because in the next part of this message, I'm going to show you exactly what God is about to trust you with. I'm going to show you why you had to go through what you went through, and how everything, every loss, every tear, every sleepless night was setting you up for a moment so big, you're going to look back and say, "Oh my God, that's why." Don't go anywhere. This is where it gets real. Now, listen close, because this is where everything shifts. When I say this is bigger than you think, I need you to understand something. I'm not talking about a new car in your driveway. I'm not talking about going viral on the internet or winning the lottery. That's not what heaven is after. What God is preparing to trust you with is so much weightier than that. He's about to trust you with influence in the spirit realm. He's about to trust you with authority in prayer. He's about to make you the person your entire family calls when everything hits the fan. Let me paint you a picture. You're going to be the grandmother whose phone rings at midnight because your granddaughter just whispered, "Grandma, can you pray for me? I don't know what to do." And when you open your mouth, heaven opens with you. That's not small. That's supernatural weight. You're going to be the man in his 60s whose quiet yes to God becomes the turning point for an entire bloodline. Your obedience in secret will break generational chains your great-grandchildren will never even know existed. That's the assignment heaven is handing you. See, the enemy wants you to think your story is winding down. He wants you to believe that because your body moves slower, your impact is smaller. But that's a lie straight from hell. Psalm 92:14 says it plain. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Still, that word matters. It means you're not done. It means the best fruit is still coming. It means God didn't retire you when your hair turned gray. He promoted you. Because here's what most people miss. God doesn't trust the young and restless with the deep things. He trusts the tested. He trusts the scarred. He trusts the ones who've been through the fire and came out still praising his name. You think your wrinkles disqualify you? No. Those lines on your face are receipts. They're proof you survived what was meant to destroy you. You've been refined. Now I can trust you with souls, not just stuff. Souls, not just wages. Wisdom, not just social media likes. Spiritual weight. There is an anointing on your later years that the world cannot see, but heaven is counting on. You are not past your prime. You are entering your prophetic prime. Let me tell you what that looks like. It looks like the widow who prays over her neighborhood and crime drops without explanation. It looks like the retired teacher who starts mentoring one young man, and that young man becomes a pastor who reaches thousands. It looks like the grandfather who writes one letter to his prodigal son, and that letter becomes the hinge that swings the entire family back to God. Hidden impact. Eternal ripples. That's what God trusts the seasoned with. You see, when you're young, you want the spotlight. When you're older, you've learned the power of the shadow. You've learned that the most powerful prayers are whispered in the dark. You've learned that faithfulness in the unseen realm carries more weight than fame in the visible one. And God is about to use that. He's about to use your pain as a bridge for someone else's healing. He's about to use your scars as a roadmap for someone who's still bleeding. He's about to use your testimony, the one you thought nobody cared about, to set a captive free. 1 Peter 5:10 promises this. After you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. Restore, confirm, strengthen, establish. That's not retirement language. That's rebuilding language. That's God saying, I'm not shelving you. I'm setting you up. But here's what I need you to hear, and I need you to hear it deep. This next chapter requires your agreement. God won't force this on you. He's offering it. He's extending the invitation. But you have to say yes. You have to stand up on the inside and say, God, you can trust me. Whatever you have for me in this season, I'm not shrinking back. I'm not fading into the background. I'm stepping forward. Because, chosen one, there are people waiting for you who don't even know it yet. There are prayers that won't get prayed unless you pray them. There are declarations that won't get spoken unless you speak them. There are knees that won't bow unless you intercede. You are not an accident. You are not left over. You are not forgotten. You are strategically positioned, divinely preserved, heavenly assigned, and what God is about to trust you with will echo into eternity long after your body returns to dust. So, right now, if you're ready, if something in you is rising up and saying, God, you can trust me in this next chapter, I want you to type in the comments, trust me, Lord. Don't just watch this passively. Engage with what heaven is doing. Type it. Declare it. Let your faith rise. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Turn on the notifications. Because this isn't a one-time word. This is a journey we're walking together, and I promise you, what's coming in the next few minutes is going to connect dots you didn't even know were scattered. Because here's the question that's going to shift everything. What if the thing you lost wasn't taken from you, but handed over to heaven so God could give you something you couldn't hold yet? Stay with me. Now listen, chosen one. You didn't come this far to leave here with just goosebumps and no game plan. Inspiration without instruction leaves you exactly where you started. And I refuse to let that happen to you today. Because here's what the enemy does. He lets you feel good for about 20 minutes, and then he whispers, okay, nice speech. Now what? And if you don't have an answer, that feeling fades, and you're right back in the same chair, staring at the same bills, carrying the same doubt. Not today. Heaven didn't interrupt your scroll just to hype you up. Heaven interrupted your scroll to reposition you. And repositioning requires movement. Small movement. Faithful movement. The kind of movement that looks ordinary to everyone else but registers as obedience in the throne room of God. So I'm going to give you 4 actions. Not theories. Not suggestions. Actions. And if you do these 4 things consistently over the next 30 days, I promise you something will shift. Not because I said so, but because God honors faithfulness, and faithfulness always triggers breakthrough. First, guard your perspective like your life depends on it, because it does. Every single time a discouraging thought tries to creep in, and it will. I want you to say this out loud. This is bigger than I think. God is working behind the scenes, not in your head, out loud. Why? Because Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your words aren't just sounds, they're spiritual decrees. When you speak, the atmosphere around you responds. Angels move, demons retreat. Your body hears it, your soul hears it, and heaven confirms it. So when you wake up tired and the first thought is, I don't have the strength for this, you interrupt it, right there. This is bigger than I think. God is working behind the scenes. When the doctor's report comes back and fear tries to flood your chest, you don't let it settle. This is bigger than I think. God is working behind the scenes. When your children don't call and loneliness wraps around your heart, you speak louder than the silence. This is bigger than I think. God is working behind the scenes. You are training your soul to see past what's visible. And that, chosen one, is how miracles begin. Second, return to consistent prayer. Not perfect prayer. Not eloquent prayer. Consistent prayer. I don't care if it's 10 minutes in your living room chair every morning with a cup of coffee in your hand. I don't care if your knees don't bend like they used to and you're praying from the edge of your bed. Heaven doesn't grade you on performance. Heaven responds to presence. Jesus said in Matthew 6:6, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, not in front of people, not to impress anyone, just you and Him. Show up. Talk to Him like He's sitting right there, because He is. Tell Him about the pain. Tell Him about the confusion. Tell Him you don't understand why things happened the way they did. He already knows, but He wants to hear it from your mouth. Because intimacy is built in honesty, not in pretending everything's fine. And here's what most people don't realize. Consistency breaks spiritual resistance. When you pray once, it's a request. When you pray twice, it's repetition. But when you pray every single day for 30 days straight, it becomes a spiritual battering ram that breaks down walls you didn't even know were there. Heaven responds to consistency, not perfection. Third, speak life over your future. I need you to stop saying, "It's over for me." Stop saying, "I'm too old." Stop saying, "My best years are behind me." Because every time you say that, you're agreeing with the enemy's narrative. And agreement gives him permission to keep you stuck. Romans 4:17 says, God calls those things which do not exist as though they did. If God speaks to what doesn't exist yet and calls it into being, then you better believe your words carry that same creative power. So starting today, you change the script. Instead of, "It's over for me," you say, "I am still in God's story, and the story is bigger than what I see." Instead of "Nothing ever changes," you say, "God is moving behind the scenes, and breakthrough is closer than I think." Instead of "I missed my chance," you say, "Heaven's timing is perfect, and my appointed hour is unfolding right now." You speak to your future like it's already written, because in heaven it is. Fourth, invest in one person. Here's where it gets bigger than you. Ask God this question every morning. Who are you asking me to pour into in this season? It might be a neighbor who's struggling. It might be a younger family member who needs wisdom. It might be someone you met online who's on the edge of giving up. Because here's the truth, chosen one. Your assignment isn't just about you receiving. It's about you becoming a conduit, a pipeline, a vessel through which heaven pours blessing into someone else's life. And when you start pouring out, God starts pouring in. That's how the kingdom works. Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over." Big assignments are walked out in small, faithful steps. Nobody sees them but God, and that's all that matters. Now, here's what I need you to understand. In just a moment, I'm going to pray over you, and when I do, something is going to break off your life. The lie that says you're too small, too late, too broken, it's going to shatter. But you have to stay with me. Don't click away yet. Are you ready? Now listen to me, because what I'm about to say is going to cut through every single lie the enemy has been whispering in your ear for the last 5, 10, maybe 20 years. There's a lie that's been playing on repeat in your mind, and it's time we call it what it is. The lie that says you're too old. The lie that says you missed your chance. The lie that says nobody cares what you think anymore. The lie that says your best days are behind you. The lie that says you're just waiting to die. Stop right there. Do you know where those words came from? They didn't come from heaven. They came from hell. And the reason the enemy keeps replaying them is because he knows something you've forgotten. You are still dangerous to his kingdom. See, the enemy doesn't waste time on people who don't matter. He doesn't attack those who have no assignment. If he's been lying to you this hard, it's because there's something in you he's terrified of. There's something you carry that could still shift atmospheres, break generational curses, and set captives free. And he knows it. But here's what he doesn't want you to know. Your age is not your disqualification. It's your credential. Listen to what Scripture says in Joel 2:28. I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions. Did you catch that? Your old men will dream dreams. God didn't say, your old men will retire and fade into the background. He said, they will dream, they will prophesy, they will carry vision. Because God doesn't put expiration dates on callings. Moses was 80 when he stood before Pharaoh. Abraham was 100 when he held Isaac. Caleb was 85 when he said, give me this mountain. And every single one of them was told they were too old, too late, too irrelevant. But heaven said otherwise. So, right now, I need you to do something. If you're able, place your hand on your heart. Go ahead. Do it right now. Because we're about to break agreement with every lie that's been shrinking your story. Repeat after me, out loud if you can. In Jesus' name, I break agreement with every lie that says my life is small. Say it again. I break agreement with the lie that says I'm too old, too tired, too forgotten. One more time. I am part of a bigger story, and my chapter is not over. Do you feel that? That's not emotion. That's the atmosphere shifting. That's chains breaking. That's the enemy losing his grip. Because here's the truth the word declares over you. You are a royal priesthood. You are a chosen generation. 1 Peter 2:9 didn't put an age limit on that. It didn't say you're chosen until you turn 65 and then you're benched. No, it says chosen, present tense, right now, at 55, at 65, at 75, at 85. You want to know why this season has felt so heavy, why the losses piled up, why the silence stretched so long? Because God wasn't taking things from you to punish you. He was clearing the stage for something bigger. He was removing distractions. He was burning off the excess. He was stripping away everything that wasn't part of the main assignment. And now, right now, He's about to reveal why. Think about it. You've survived betrayals that should have destroyed you. You've walked through grief that should have buried you. You've endured financial storms, health crises, and family fractures that would have broken someone else in half. But you're still here. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's evidence. Evidence that you were built for something most people can't carry. Evidence that your story isn't shrinking, it's deepening. Evidence that what the enemy meant to kill you is actually what qualified you. Your scars? Those are your credentials. Your limp? That's your authority. Your wrinkles? Those are victory lines from battles the next generation hasn't even faced yet. This is why heaven is saying, this is bigger than you think. Because what you thought was the end of your influence is actually the beginning of your legacy. What you thought was retirement is actually repositioning. What you thought was fading into the background is actually God moving you to the front line. And the enemy knows it. That's why he's been working overtime to convince you that you don't matter anymore. That's why he's been flooding your mind with thoughts of irrelevance and invisibility. But I'm here to tell you, you are not invisible to heaven. Your prayers still move mountains. Your voice still carries weight. Your presence still shifts atmospheres. And the assignment on your life is still active, still breathing, still waiting for you to step back into it. So, if you felt something lift off you just now, if you felt a weight break, a lie shatter, a chain snap, I need you to write in the comments right now, I am part of something bigger. Write it. Declare it. Let heaven and earth hear it. And if this message is wrecking you in the best way, hit that like button right now. Because there are thousands of people scrolling past this who are battling these same lies. And when you like this video, YouTube pushes it to them. You could be the reason someone else breaks free today. But we're not done yet. Because if you think that was the breakthrough, you haven't heard what's coming next. Because what I'm about to show you is going to make you understand why every single loss you suffered was actually a setup for the greatest chapter of your life. Stay with me, because this is about to get bigger than you ever imagined. Chosen one. We've come to the moment where heaven stops explaining and starts moving. This isn't just information anymore. This is activation. So, I'm going to ask you to do something right now that might feel uncomfortable, but I need you to trust me. Wherever you are, I want you to lift your hands. I don't care if you're in your living room, sitting in your car, or lying in a hospital bed. Lift them, because what's about to be released over your life requires your agreement. Heaven is waiting for your yes. Father, in the name of Jesus, I come before you right now on behalf of every chosen one hearing my voice. And Lord, I'm not praying a nice prayer, I'm praying a dangerous one. Because these people don't need comfort, they need breakthrough. They don't need sympathy, they need supernatural intervention. So right now, I speak to every worn-down body listening to this message. Every back that aches, every knee that hurts when the weather changes, every hand that trembles, every eye that doesn't see like it used to. Lord, your word says in Isaiah 40-31 that those who wait on you will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. So I declare renewal over tired bones. I declare strength over weakened muscles. I declare clarity over foggy minds. And I speak to every disease, every diagnosis, every report that said there's nothing more we can do. I say, you're a liar. Because the same God who raised Lazarus from a 4-day-old grave can breathe life back into a body the world has written off. God, let them feel their strength returning. Not all at once, but enough to know you're still the healer. Enough to know their story isn't over. Now, Father, I lift up every fractured family represented in this moment. Every child who doesn't call, every grandchild who's distant, every marriage that feels cold, every sibling who cut ties. Lord, you said in Malachi 4-6 that you would turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers. So I speak to every prodigal right now. I don't care how far they've run, how deep they've gone, how lost they think they are. I command the spirit of return to fall on them. Let phone calls come that haven't come in years. Let text messages appear out of nowhere. Let apologies rise that pride tried to bury. Let this chosen one become a lighthouse in their bloodline, a beacon that pulls wandering souls back home. And Father, I know money is tight for many hearing this. The bills pile up faster than the checks come in. Social Security doesn't stretch like it needs to. Medical costs are crushing, and the fear of running out, of being a burden, of not having enough, that fear is real. But your word says in Matthew 6:11, give us this day our daily bread, not next year's bread, not retirement bread, daily bread. So I break the spirit of lack over their finances right now. I speak to bank accounts that are running low. I speak to unexpected bills that just showed up. I speak to savings that have been drained. And I declare provision, not lottery winnings, not false promises, but divine provision, the kind that shows up right on time, the kind that makes no sense on paper but works out in real life. Let favor open doors that qualifications couldn't. Let wisdom guide their spending. Let supernatural multiplication touch what little they have left and make it more than enough. But God, here's what I really need you to do. I need you to remind them that their breath still carries assignment, that their pulse still has purpose written on it. Because the enemy's greatest lie to the elderly is that their best days are behind them, that they're just waiting now, just passing time, just holding on until heaven calls them home. That's a lie straight from hell. Your word says in Psalm 92-14, they will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green. Fresh, green, not dried up, not withered, not irrelevant. So I speak to every gift that's been dormant, every talent that's been sleeping, every calling that's been quiet. Wake up, rise up. There are people who need what only you can give them. There are prayers only you can pray. There are words only you can speak. There are doors only you can open. Your last chapter will not be your smallest. Heaven is not done writing with your life. The pen is still moving, the ink is still wet, and the best paragraphs might be the ones you haven't lived yet. So, chosen one, if you're in agreement with what's being released right now, I need you to type one word in the comments. Amen. That's not just a religious word. That's your signature. That's your agreement with heaven. That's you saying, "Yes, Lord, I receive what you're declaring over me." Type it. Because what's coming next is going to show you exactly how God is going to use what you thought disqualified you to become the very thing that defines your legacy. Chosen one, we've covered a lot of ground today. And I need you to understand something before you close this video and walk back into your life. What we just walked through together was not information. It was revelation. And revelation demands response. Let me bring it all together for you. Today, we saw that what you're facing is not random. It's not chaos. It's not God being silent or distant or forgetful. What you're living through right now is part of a battle that's bigger than your bank account, bigger than your health report, bigger than the empty chair at your table. This is a spiritual war over your assignment. And the fact that the enemy is still fighting you, that's proof you're still dangerous. We looked at Joseph. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, thrown into a pit, then a prison, forgotten by men, but never forgotten by God. And what looked like the end of his story was actually the setup for his greatest chapter. The palace was waiting, the provision was coming. The entire nation would be saved because one man refused to believe his pain was pointless. That's you, chosen one. That's your story. We broke the lies today. The lie that says you're too old, the lie that says you missed your window, the lie that whispers your best days are behind you and all that's left is to manage the decline. We called those lies what they are, demonic propaganda, designed to keep you small, quiet, and out of position. But God is saying something entirely different. He's saying, I didn't bring you this far to leave you here. I didn't preserve you through hell just so you could fade into the background. I am trusting you with more than you realize. And what I'm about to release through you will shock the people who counted you out. Now listen to me very carefully. When you wake up tomorrow morning and you look in that mirror, I don't want you to just see age. I don't want you to just see wrinkles, gray hair, or scars. I want you to see a chapter in God's story that hell has tried and failed to erase. You are a walking testimony. You are breathing proof that the enemy does not get the final word. You are evidence that God still finishes what he starts. And that means something, chosen one. That carries weight. Because there are people watching you, people who don't go to church, people who stopped praying, people who buried hope years ago. And when they see you still standing, still believing, still trusting God after everything you've been through, something in them stirs. Your life becomes the sermon they didn't know they needed. So don't you dare shrink back now. Don't you dare apologize for the favor that's coming. Don't you dare hide the glory God is about to put on display through your story. This is bigger than you think. Now, if this word landed on you today, if something shifted in your spirit, I need you to do 3 things. Not tomorrow. Right now. First, drop a comment below and write, "This is bigger than I thought." Let that be your declaration. Let that be your agreement with heaven. Let your fingers type what your spirit already knows. Second, share this message with at least one person. Not someone who's doing fine, someone who's on the edge, someone whose hope is hanging by a thread. Someone who needs to hear that their story is not over. You send this to them right now, because you might be the delivery system God is using to save their life. Third, hit that subscribe button and stay connected. Don't walk this journey alone. We're not building an audience here, we're building a remnant, a community of chosen ones who refuse to believe the lie that their story is over. Every week, we're going to dig deeper. Every message, we're going to go further. Because God is not done talking to you, and I'm not done delivering what he gives me to say. This is not the end of the conversation. This is the beginning. So, come back, lock in, stay ready. Because what God is about to do in the next season is going to require you to be spiritually sharp, emotionally steady, and fully convinced that you are exactly who he says you are. Chosen one, before I let you go, I want you to hear this one more time. You are loved, you are seen, you are not forgotten. And this thing you're walking through right now, this is so much bigger than you think. God bless you. I'll see you in the next one.